Welcome back again. This is part 2 of the Storm DNA Coil test, and it's Tyler testing it on our house shot. We mentioned the resurface of the reactor gloss per our usual procedure. This house shot is playing a little bit on the heavier side, and outside really is not as forgiving as you would want on a house shot. Nevertheless, here is how the DNA coil performs. First few shots shows you outside doesn't bounce like you would expect. Once Tyler gets the break point into no further than 6 out, the shot is there. And this is an interesting roll to describe. You can feel the core chug. The core is not snappy, so you do get length from the cover and a bit of a lumbering roll from the core. This is for sure a control pearl cover, if I can call it that. I mean, and core, frankly, it really looks wholly designed to roll just like the original DNA, but some added natural length. As I mentioned in part 1, the ball almost rolls like a shined up DNA, whereas you'll find at times big variations between pearl and solid versions, say the Eternity and Eternity Pi. Those are vastly different pieces. The DNA and DNA coil really feel like almost the same ball, but one is reading a touch earlier while the other is shined to read later. And here you can see the original DNA. It looks a touch smoother and even more control than the coil given the cover stock. But as you can see, very recognizable. Now here's also a quick look at the Phase II. I consider the Phase II a good complement to the DNA as a step down. It helps that it has the same colors, but you see how much more continuous the Phase II is. It stores more energy overall, and this seems to come down to the core behavior. Just to close out here, the DNA coil has a unique shape for a shiny ASIM. It reminds me of the Trident Horizon shape from Motive, in that it's a kind of a roly pearl ASIM. I slot them both in mid-define, but the coil is pretty smooth in a way that could also slot it in some control slot. I would say it's a bit of a tough call, especially when looking at the original DNA and seeing how a shiny one of those won't roll very different from the new coil. Do you really need the DNA coil?